Hello Pisces, this is Rebecca with Empathic Crow coming to you with the August 2026 reads. All reads are timeless, so there may be a message for you anytime. It's just like if you go out and you may see tons of cardinals, but they mean nothing to you, and one day you see a cardinal and the timing and everything just lines up and it means something to you, then it's a message for you. So with that, these are general collective readings for the sign of Pisces. So the message may or may not resonate with you, especially, and this is pretty typical, but today with this set that I am recording, especially these last 5 that I'm recording for the 12 signs, has been very specific. Like these are messages that if it's not your read, you're going to know pretty quickly. Either way, if you want to stick around, you can, and maybe something will come through that still gives you one of those light bulb moments. But thank you for being here with me. Always use your intuition and trust your intuition and use your discernment. Doing those intros and outros always feels so awkward, and I feel it may just always be that way for me. Either way, again, I'm Rebecca with Empathic Crow, and Pisces, a lot of the things that I've gotten before, I have connected with the energy of each sign this go round, and in general, will be like a song or a phrase or something like that. Yours, I don't know. We're going to see where we go. And I also think grammatically it is not correct. So I heard wishes and fishes, fishes and wishes. And I think the plural of fish is fish. But we will see. So wishes and fishes, fishes and wishes. And it was very like whimsical, like da 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 da. Like I'm thinking of what some of those cartoon kids movies, like Disney type movies. So I'm not sure, but Pisces, if you're ready, we're going to go into it and see what's happening. So I feel like with that type of energy, let's start with the Light Seers Tarot. This is a pocket deck. It's by Chris Ann. Wishes and fishes, fishes and wishes. We'll go ahead and shuffle. I'm hearing 2. I like 3, but we're going to do 2. 2, 2, 2 as I say that. There you go. So maybe it's because synchronicities are going. Did I start out by telling you something about cardinals? And if you, yes, I did. So Pisces, I get it now. This is about you being able, now I may be wrong, but this is how it feels. This is going to be, I feel like, about you being able to see the magic around you, whether that's magic, like, oh, I have a wand that Pat O'Keefe gave me at Parafest for her sister's project. There's magic in the mountains or something like that. I can't remember. And I don't have the thing. It's over there. But whether it's magic, I want to go Wingardium Leviosa. But yeah, this feels like a very like whimsical energy and just getting you, and even so today so far I've recorded Sagittarius and Cancer, and while those readings were very intense and Spirit was very direct, I feel like Sagittarius got a lecture. Cancer was a little bit more gentle, but also still direct. For you Pisces, I can't say that there's not going to be some of that coming through, but it feels very whimsical. But sacral chakra has been a big piece of all of those, well, these 3 readings so far. Sacral chakra definitely is something that you're being called into. That play, that joy, passion, intimacy, creativity, just feeling completely within yourself. Your body, your sensations, your experience the world is like what I'm seeing. Like just somebody who's just experiencing everything and just taking it in. It's like seeing things through like the eyes of a child. Like as if it's the first time you've seen it, and being curious and playful about it. All right, Pisces. So this is what the wishes and fishes, wishes is about. All right, too many cards have flipped over, but we will take that one on the top, which is the Judgment card. And it is card 20, which breaks down to a 2. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, however many 2s may be something that's important for you right now. But the biggest piece of this is in order to get playful And also, in order to manifest or be in alignment with, however you want to put it, to attain the goals that we want to, we have to be able to release those rigid structures sometimes. You want to be able to plan. Okay, so I said part of this in Cancer's message. You want to be able to plan, but it's not sitting in that planning mode for forever and you don't do anything, but it's also making a move. But Pisces, for you, the other thing I'm seeing is with her releasing, you see this like gold sparkle. Now, sparkle came out a lot in Cancer's reading as well. That magic aspect, glitter, shimmer, whatever you want to call it. But it's like allowing yourself to not just see the magic in the world. I heard see the magic in you. Oh gosh, then I'm hearing, do you believe in magic? I don't know the words to that song. I feel like it was before my time. I don't remember it. Yeah, Ten of Swords. Because the thing is, so this has been a theme among all of the reads so far. And I don't know if you feel like you're having a hard time speaking your truth. I had a little bit of some throat stuff going on with the first two reads. But this is like I'm really struggling to speak right now. And that first card, we have so much blue. So some of that release may even be a throat chakra release. You being able to speak your truth, to even acknowledge your truth for yourself, to understand your truth. And even with that, it could be speaking it. It could even be just writing it down. It's just getting some of the thoughts and words out of your head, but it could even be speaking it to like somebody that can help you through it. Because with that Ten of Swords, what I love about this Ten of Swords card is she has on this dress. It's got the orange and the yellow sacral and solar plexus chakra. It's flowy. She's not in necessarily that playful aspect, but she's moving forward. And these 10 crows, I say crows, that are up here, they are kind of creating an arch of support. It's not like being pinned down to the ground that you would see in like even this Crow Tarot or the original Rider-Waite tarot, things like that. So it's being able to release the judgment of yourself, release the judgment of others. What they've done, they've done. And it doesn't mean that you have to let go of what happened completely, or in a way that it doesn't mean that you have to say that it was okay, but it's allowing yourself to, like with forgiveness, release that need or desire to hold on to it, even when other people aren't willing to take accountability or to try to make it right in any way, because you can't control them. And I'm really seeing right now I'm seeing somebody sitting in their journaling, and as they're writing, because I'm being zoomed into the page, they're actually upset at themselves because they keep seeing, why did I do that? Why did I let that happen to me? And so it's understanding that sometimes we do allow for things to go on for longer than we should. And this is some of the judgment that you're being called to release, because it's going to keep you stuck in a Ten of Swords where you may start making movements forward. But notice how even this grass is not as bright green as what we might expect. And so it keeps your heart more muted. It makes it to where you may be trying to balance that sacral, solar plexus, and heart chakra, but it's just not progressing in a way that you may want for it to. So there's definitely a release that needs to happen. What else, Spirit, for Pisces? I feel like something tried to flip or flipped. Nope. What else for Pisces? Yeah. Oh, something did. All right. 5 of Wands. I know that came out in Cancer's read. I don't remember if it came out in Sagittarius. I think it was in Cancer's read. So with this 5 of Wands, this is going back to that structure for me, trying to do things in a certain way. We may be trying to prevent and avoid running into the same roadblocks or new situations that are going to make things more difficult. But sometimes you may even have those supports like these crows up here around you, but you're not sure if you can trust them. So then it just becomes this thing where nobody's really communicating. That communication just feels really big in your reading, Pisces. Nobody's really communicating. And look, this person isn't even looking at what they're doing. This person's falling down and nobody seems to care. I've not really paid attention to all the little... This person's at the bottom and they haven't even started the climb. Let's see. This person looks like they could possibly be helping, but really they're not getting the light to wherever it is that they want it to go. And the structure, the scaffolding looks like it could easily fall. So when we're so wrapped up in our mind with these things from the past, it's really hard for us to get back to creating a solid foundation until we release it and allow ourselves to move forward, which is what the next card is, that Six of Swords card. Being able to take with you what you need, but move forward from the things, the places, the people, situations that have been hurtful and have not been helpful to you. It may help you because you learned a lesson. And notice that here, there are strings that are going from that boat to these crows, like 11:11 on the clock, almost like sled dogs is the only word coming into my mind. But those crows, they're not just guiding the way, they're also helping. And I talked about that with the crows here, the supports. But sometimes we're afraid to trust people, like I said, and we may not be communicating, or people, we've had supports in our lives that really weren't doing what they needed to. So this is building supports that you feel like you can trust. She's got that bright red on. She's getting grounded, allowing herself to go into spaces or to see within herself, 11:44 on the clock, a safety and sense of security. Because when it comes to safety, sometimes we try to create it outside of us. We try to find safe people, safe spaces. We try to minimize, and it was 11:56. So 11, 5 and 6 is 11, 11:11. I think that's come up in Sagittarius, Cancer, and your reading, or at least Cancer in your reading. So that's a big thing right now. And then 11:11, I say make a wish when I see 11:11. And wishes and fishes, fishes and wishes. So Pisces, this really may feel heavy, but this is actually a very encouraging reading for you. 12:22 on the clock, which has come up a lot recently too. It may not feel like it. And notice that while these crows are tied to the boat and they're being supportive and helping her, they're in the background and they're flying away. So it's letting those things from the past, whether that's even, like I said, your judgments of yourself, move away because you don't need them anymore. You can leave them behind and it's okay, because you're not like, I wanted to say not cutting them off, but you can cut things off, but it doesn't mean that you're losing anything. Sometimes by cutting things out, we actually gain more, especially when it comes to that sacral chakra and returning to ourselves, returning to the things that we need. And just with the water and the way the boat is cutting through the water, I feel like that's really calling for that emotional balance, which we need when we've been through situations where we've been judged or judged ourselves. We've had that Ten of Swords. We felt like we don't know if we're fighting or if people are helping or if everybody got the memo on what we're trying to do. It can feel so overwhelming sometimes. Bottom of the deck, you've got the Two of Cups. So there are, like I said, these supportive people, places, relationships, whatever it is, that will be coming in. But a big piece of this, Pisces, that I'm hearing is trust. Being able to trust yourself to make decisions that are going to be helpful to you. So when that intuitive hit comes in, you may feel like something's off, and it's being able to remember, this is using our discernment, that it feels off, but it doesn't necessarily mean the first thing that pops into our head. So let's say that the only thing coming to me is kind of my husband and I, our first date, 14:14 on the clock. We met, I chose a mall. I was like, let's meet at the mall. And I said, let's meet at the Sears building, or the Sears side. I think Sears was already closed by then. I was like, let's meet at the Sears side. Well, I was thinking of the side that had a military recruitment office, because I was thinking, there's going to be a lot of people going in and out, and military people, and not necessarily that military people are going to be more helpful, 14:44 on the clock. But I was like, okay, this feels safe. Well, he thought Sears, and immediately his brain went to Dave and Buster's. So my thought was that I had been stood up. He thought he had been stood up, but it was that we were both in the same area, but on different sides of the building. That was a long story, but it felt important to say that it was like I had a reason I had chosen a specific thing. My brain went to planning and safety. His brain went to fun and excitement. So both of us knew where we were meeting. We just weren't on the same page. And it doesn't mean it has to be a bad thing with what exactly the location was. Once I think he may have texted me, and then he came over to where I was at, and then we were able to have our first date. But I feel like that's just part of what I'm trying to say here, is that in that balanced situation, like if this was a situation where your spidey senses are saying something's off and it really is, then maybe it's that you're both just sitting there and nobody, because if he hadn't messaged me within the next 15:55 on the clock, I don't know how many minutes, I would have messaged him and been like, hey, you okay? You having some trouble? It's about that communication. So not just jumping to the conclusion that comes in because of our anxiety or our worry, but allowing ourselves to recognize something's not right, and then using that discernment to figure out what it is. Where are we going, Spirit? Pisces. I keep getting drawn to the Halloween deck, so we will use the Halloween Oracle. I'm going to shuffle once with this. So Spirit, for Pisces, what is our message going forward? Now you may hear, and I don't think I've taken a sip of my water yet, my voice is clearing up some. So this is the thing. When you start trusting yourself and speaking, then that throat chakra is going to clear more easily. Yes, it stayed on the table. I don't have to pause or pick it up. Yeah, here we go. That's exactly what I was talking about. Trick or treat, mischief, and play. So it's you being able to decide, is something really somebody playing with you or a situation not working out, like I was talking about with this Five of Wands, or is it something where it feels like a trick? It feels like something's not happening, but it actually is. The crow message that I just clicked on and posted for this morning, you'll be seeing this later though. Today is Monday. I can't remember which date it is. It's like 7/28 or something. I'm not sure. Wednesday's the 20. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is, because I'm losing the point of what I was going to say, the crow message that I posted, Spirit was saying slow down. And it was about, the first card that came out was the trickster. And that was from the Shamanic Medicine Oracle. Because when I go to cut it down to take out the pauses so it meets the 3 minutes, I have to watch through it quite a number of times. And then I also have to choose a title. Anyway, it was calling to slow down because the trickster came out. And you can look at it as tricks, or you can see it as a challenge, because that was what it was, trickster challenge. The challenge is not necessarily to discourage you, disrupt your life, things like that, but it does cause us to slow down, pause, and reevaluate the situation. And I feel like that's what Spirit's calling you to do here, is to reevaluate, because it may just be that it is a trick, or it is something that you can't trust. Stop judging yourself for the past. Yes, things have happened, but it doesn't mean it's always going to be something that you don't want, because you're leaving those things you don't want to build the things that you do. Anything else from the Halloween deck? I'm feeling the answer is no. Yeah, we'll do one more shuffle, but it feels, well, I say 1 or 2, I get 3. I say no. Midnight, the most magical hour of all. And notice with this, it's this transformation. So it's allowing that magic to be present, allowing yourself to be a bit more whimsical, to wish for things or to do things that you may not have even imagined were possible, but you've wanted, to not let yourself get held back by overthinking and judgment or the emotions that come with that. Now notice on her arm, there are like some scars and things like that. So it's not that the things that we do won't necessarily cause some hurts and things, but at the same time, it's remembering that it's a lesson and we move through it and we can leave that situation. Because if you didn't have those lessons, then you may feel like life is more peaceful, but it may not be. You may not even look for joy because maybe you don't have those lessons because you were trying so hard to protect yourself that you never were in situations where things sometimes didn't work out. I don't know that there are many people on this planet who have not had some type of tower moment. 2020, when I said that, hindsight's 2020. We look back at the past and you can see it, whereas when you're going into it, it's, I don't care how highly intuitive you are, we all have hope and we see the potential and we want to believe that something will be a certain way. So it's not losing that excitement. It's balancing being grounded and also being open and hopeful. All right. I'm also being called to this Mystical Shaman Pocket Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, Alberto Violdo. I might not have said that correctly. I know double L is like a Y. And Marcela Lobos. So I'm not as familiar with this deck. It is very beautiful. So I may be reading from the guidebook, which is part of why I have the lamp behind me now. That started during these reads. But yeah, Pisces, I feel like the wishes and fishes. You're the fish, of course. Or fishes. I still feel like it's fish. I'll have to look that up now. If I remember, I may not. But there are wishes, and it's Spirit's encouraging you to look at your wishes and to not feel like it's not something that you can't have. Yeah, I heard don't block your blessings. All right, let's see what comes out of here. Several things wanting to come out, but then they're not fully popping out. All right. Ooh, I say they're not fully popping out, and then Spirit's like, I'll give you 4 that pop out. How's that? I told you, this is the thing. You gotta believe in yourself. And sometimes you're gonna doubt yourself. And sometimes, and I feel like maybe this is helpful, you're going to say something and you set like a rule, 22:22 on the clock for yourself. Is you're reading the one that's had all the 2s? I don't even remember now. That's funny. And 2 fish. Fishes. You create these rules and they don't necessarily work that way. Or you may even feel like you get an intuitive nudge and it doesn't work that way. And that doesn't mean that it's wrong or you were wrong. It just means sometimes you're going to change path. I'm seeing somebody, they're walking and they're like power walking. And then there's somebody right in their path and there's not a lot of room. And so they have to either slow down, squeeze through, or hopefully not run into the person. And so I'm seeing them just kind of swiftly like go around the person. I feel like that's what Spirit's saying. Sometimes you just got to shift lanes. Even though I was talking about people, we went into the cars here. Sometimes you just got to shift lanes. All right. So we have 21, which breaks down to a 3, the gathering. Now we are coming up on autumn in August. Is it? No. Does it happen? I don't remember. No, I don't remember when it is. See, this is so weird. I don't usually have these moments where I'm like, yeah, no. Again, I feel like Pisces, this is the energy that we're in here where it's like wanting to take the step, but then being afraid that you're wrong and maybe you are wrong and then pulling back and then it's like getting stuck. And as I said that, it was 23:55, like 555, getting stuck and not making the change because it's like, I don't know which way to move. So with the gathering, this feels like, well, first of all, I feel like this is just like that message, and that's probably why I shared it with you. It's calling you to slow down, not stop, but just slow down and think about what you really want. Because with this harvest, abundance comes in all forms, whether it's relationships, whether it's more positive thinking, whether it's money or supports. We talked about the supports. Whatever it is, abundance is whatever contributes to your joy, health, wealth, and beauty. I'm hearing beauty. And this is a beautiful card, And there's a lot of sacral chakra energy in there, but there's other chakra colors in there too. But with that, it's really that harvest. Like, this is a time where you're harvesting up the things that you want, bringing in the things that you want, rather than focusing on the things that you don't want, those things from the past. She's holding a blue feather here. It sort of looks like a blue jay feather, but different. And blue jay feathers and the color blue often can be associated with that. It was 25-25 when I said that, throat chakra, and being able to communicate clearly, also to receive and hear communication clearly. Be more confident in your communication is what I'm really feeling. Now, the full moon is up there at the top, and depending on when I post this, we will be about to have or just have had the full moon. I don't know which one it is right now. I haven't really paid attention. I just saw it out there the other night and I was like, oh yeah. Often I pay attention. I didn't this time. Either way, full moon is the time to release certain things. So like I said, releasing those things from the past so that you can focus on the things that you want to bring in. But it also looks like there's an eclipse back here too with that. Nope, I heard new moon. So just again, the balance between releasing and also figuring out what it is that you want to bring in. All right, so the gathering, or the gatherer. The gatherer. I said the gathering. The gatherer. So you may be gathering people and things, but the gatherer is you. You're the one who gets to decide. You've got the ability to decide for yourself what you want. Beauty Way 4. So this came out in, I think it was Scorpio's read, because I remember thinking this is a beautiful card. And then the colors reminded me of a phoenix. And then also growing up through the mud with Scorpio, that death and rebirth, Scorpio sun here. So if it seems like I know my Scorpio stuff, that would be why. But with the Beauty Way, this is about seeing things. I remember from the guidebook. This is about seeing things in a different way, seeing the beauty in things. So coming right back to that, seeing the magic that's all around you, and especially the magic that is within you. The lotus, growing up through the mud, you've been through some hard stuff. You've been through some difficult times, but it doesn't mean that there's not still magic. And this dragonfly, the dragonfly, I believe in the spirit of the animals oracle, the dragonfly represents magic. We will look at that as I move forward. All right, so the next thing you had was the sweat lodge, which is 54, which breaks down to a 9. So 9 is close to the completion, 10 being the completion. And I feel like that I did read the guidebook on this one for somebody else. I don't remember who had the sweat lodge. I think Gemini. I only remember that because there was one card, I don't remember which one, and it had what looked like a little doorway. And I was talking about going inside and I think healing or something like that. Anyway, if you have any Gemini placements, maybe a message for you. But with that sweat lodge, it's being able to go into this space where you're able to release, like the judgment card that we started out with, some of those things, those emotions especially, that have held you back and kept you stuck. And this is what the dragonfly looks like, because it is on the front of the box, that have kept you stuck for so long. And it's purification and purging your body of those things. So as I say that, it may even be that for you, there's some kind of retreat or ritual is the only word coming into my mind, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, dragonfly, magic, and it's got a lotus flower on it. We'll put that to the side, but that feels important. But with that sweat lodge, and even with all this, it's a muted orange. It's very earthy color. It's that returning to you, returning to that connection between yourself, source, creator, God, higher self, divine, universe, whatever it is for you, and clearing out. I heard clearing out the crap, detoxifying, 45, which also breaks down to a 9, the seer. This is you being able to trust your intuition. Like I said, when it comes to the intuition, we have to be careful. We all have intuition. It is part of our survival skills. Having that instinct is something that, I tell people, think about animals and children. Animals and children run off of their instincts until somebody encourages, or even through punishment and things like that, suppresses it, makes them believe that it's not true, or creates a situation where they feel like they can't trust themselves, or they can't say certain things. It's not right that it's wrong. Your intuition is not wrong. Your intuition is something that's supposed to be helpful to you, but we also have to pull ourselves back and see things from a different perspective so that we can make sure we're not looking at it just one way. Recognizing, like I said, that something may feel off, but it may not be what's going on. So this is where we say use your discernment. And with that red, it's, I feel like, really being called to say get grounded. Allow yourself to connect. So it's, and this may have been Cancer, like crown to root, root to crown, balancing yourself out, not just focusing on one or the other. We also have a bird coming through in here. So this is reminding me of those supports in this card and this card, where it's also recognizing who your supports are. The biggest piece of this, I feel like, is saying you can trust yourself. It's just allowing yourself to recognize the red flags, 31:31 on the clock, even the red flags for yourself. Like, what are patterns that I get stuck in? And I have a hard time getting out of them. Versus when we sometimes, our intuition will be going off. We're in a certain situation. We assume that it's about that, and it may not be. It may be about something else. So Dragonfly Magic. This is going to be your last card. Pisces. I was about to say Cancer. Pisces. I feel like this is kind of where we should end this. I embrace my transformation. I courageously let go of the past. The magic of nature is in me. I am brilliant and I am blessed. Now, if you have some Cancer placements, I feel like the Cancer message could be helpful to you. There's some similar themes and things that are in it, and this card definitely hits on some of those too. Not telling you what you have to do, just saying if you're interested. But yeah, there's been mud that you've had to grow up through, but look at this beauty, and there's beauty within you and all around you, but you have to see it. And that requires you to release the judgments and the things of the past. So, wishes and fishes, fishes and wishes. Pisces, you have the fishes, the fish. And with the wishes, you probably have those too. It's just you finally believing that you can have the things that you desire, and that it's not always going to work out the way that you want, but there are supports, places, people, things, whatever it is, dreams, wishes, whatever it is, that are going to work out for you. So trust yourself and see and believe in yourself as well. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for hanging in there, and I'll try to put timestamps up, whether you've skipped through or whatever. It doesn't matter, as long as the message has brought you something that is helpful. And even if it hasn't, hey, thank you for watching. So please like, share, and subscribe. It does help the messages to get to more people. I am so grateful for all the messages, all the follows, all the comments. Those always just delight me, tickle me, whatever you want to say. I say tickle me, because it's just so nice to know that things are resonating, they're clicking, or that somebody got something or thought something was funny. That's okay too, because I'm an awkward person. Either way, thank you so much. If you would like a private reading to explore your particular circumstances, I do offer intuitive tarot readings. I do that through live Zoom sessions, and I also offer a recorded reading now. There's taxes for that one, because since I send the file or the link to the private video to you through email, it's considered a digital product. So just giving you a heads up, the price is, I think, $55, and then with taxes, it's right below $59. But either way, these messages will always be there as long as there's a platform that they're on. And I will be putting out more general collective reads. It's just making sure that you keep in mind 3444, that it's picking up on a collective energy. So not every reading or every piece of a reading is going to be specifically for any one person. And even with private readings, past and present, they are pretty accurate and on point because it's already happened or it's happening right now. Future is always potential and possibility because you are a sovereign person with free will. You have autonomy, and so you get to choose what it is that you want to do. So thank you again for being here with me, and I hope that you have a wonderful August, or if you watch some of my other reads, you can check in on those and see if there's anything else for you. But until next time, take care.